Chris has worked in the real estate industry for 18 years, and she first started her career at MRIS, Metropolitan Regional Information Systems, where she was an account executive for the better part of 13 years. In her position there, Chris concentrated on creating beneficial relationships with board leadership, brokers, agents, and associations. In 2008, she took her experience to ARMLS, Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service, as industry relations liaison and developed an outreach program to improve relationships between all constituencies using her expertise from her previous position at MRIS. She was the eyes and ears of ARMLS in the field. She comes to RPR with a passion for the product, having been involved with the implementation of RPR at ARMLS. Whew, acronyms. In Chris's spare time, she has a passion for tennis and enjoys wogging, her term for a hybrid of walking and jogging. I know what that's like. And training with others for fun runs, which also includes 1 half marathon a year. So please welcome from RPR, Chris DeWald.
Good morning. It's still morning, right? Okay, good. That's a great introduction. I don't have to talk about myself now. Kind of craziness. I am here from RPR, which is a benefit to you all. I have a lot of slides, so I'm going to talk fast. I usually talk fast anyway, but I want to make sure that all of you are aware of this benefit that's to all realtors. It's a benefit. There's no cost. How many agents do I have here? Okay, brokers, appraisers. Anyone know what a resi-mercial is? That's a combination of a residential and commercial agent. We call them resi-mercials because we actually have things for commercial, but we also have the combination of those agents that sometimes get into that commercial area. What is RPR? It's 166 million property information across the United States. You have access to all of that if you're a realtor. As long as you're a realtor, you can look at this. It's all available to you. It's exclusive to realtors. It's not a public interfacing. The public cannot get to it. The consumer cannot get to it. It's owned by you. Part of your dues go towards supporting this benefit for you. We think it's a great information. What are you going to use with it? So we have more information. Lots of information for you to be able to view all in one place. More tools to use with that information. We've developed tools. We constantly keep developing tools on this. More reports. We have beautiful reports. When I talk to agents that actually use this, this is one of the things they love about our system is the reporting system that it has and all the different ways that you can do it. And all of this is done pretty quickly. So what does that give you? More time for you. I'm sure all of you would like to spend more time with your children, maybe go on vacations, try and do all of those things. This also allows you to work on vacation. Not that that's something you would want to do, but it does allow you to do that. So this is kind of our platform. You see there it's 166 million properties, 1 billion photos, 240 tax records. It's 270 terabytes of information. And look at what a 1 terabyte is. Do anybody know what a terabyte is? I don't. I just know that it has a lot of numbers after it. So it's a lot of information all available to you. So if you're a realtor, you have the availability to look at property assessments, deed recordings, standalone mortgage, census neighborhood information, which is census demographic, statistical economic information, heat maps and heat map overlays, FEMA flood maps. We have digital FEMA flood maps that you can actually use to. I love the mapping because it tells a visual story. Plat maps, aerial flyovers, AVMs and RVMs. Anyone know what an AVM is? Anyone know what an RVM is? Oh, I see a hand back there. Yes, exactly. And where do you see those? Yep, exactly, Zillow. She said AVM, automated value model. An AVM is a zestimate. You know what that is? Oh, okay, yeah, now we know what an AVM is. That's right. An AVM is public information. An RVM is something that we create. When we have your MLS information, we overlay it and we give you an RVM, which is a little bit more accurate than an AVM. But we work with those. School information, district and school-specific teacher ratios, tests, distress data information from public records. I'm going to go on and on, but this is available to everyone. Whether we have your MLS information or not, and you're a realtor, you can search this information and get that information. What'd you say?
Go. Yeah, just make sure.
Okay, I'm not sure what I heard, but I'm going to keep on going. If we have your local MLS data, then, and your MLS is working with us and partnering with us, then we also have active, pending, sold, and historical data on your MLS information. But all the other you can use even if we don't have your MLS data. So that's the information that we have. What are you going to do with that information? We're going to give you tools to use it. We're giving you tools to research, to map, listing and buyer presentations, mobile, investor tools, appraiser tools, commercial tools. I could go on and on, so we're going to just take a little bit. Searching distressed properties. You can do that. We have the largest database of distressed properties. You can search in there. Anything that comes up red is actually going to be a distressed property. It's pre-foreclosure, foreclosure. We're going to tell you what stage it's in so you'll actually know. So great way. You can even search your bank-owned. We have an advanced search where it says owner, just put in bank. And when you put in bank, it's going to pull up everything that's bank-owned. Now, you do have to be careful because every once in a while it might be a Mr. or Mrs. Bank. So, but most of the time it's just going to bring you up bank. So you're able to do that. Mapping tools. Mapping is kind of nice. When you're working with a client, it kind of gives you a visual story. It tells you what's happening in this area. We always work with the senses. You have your visual, you have your audio, you have your touch, your feel, you have all of those things. That's always good to engage that when you're actually working with customers. So we have mapping tools. And these might be similar to your MLS already because we have the box. You can save the information. You can draw the box, put the information, save it in there, edit it later. We have the radius. Someone wants to live at one point, but I don't want to live further than 1 mile, 2 miles out. We have the polygon. And again, all of these you can save. Then you can draw a specific area. You can outline it. You can outline a subdivision or maybe just a waterfront area if you have waterfront. I'm in Florida now, so everything's waterfront. I just moved here and when she said ARMLS, they actually call it armless out there in Arizona. So I got my arms back. It's like, when I first went there, I was like, do I really have to say that? Can't I just say ARMLS? But you have the capability to do the polygon. You can do drive time and distances. I'm a doctor. I don't want to live more than 5 minutes. I'm an emergency room doctor. I don't want to be more than 5 minutes away if I have to get a call. So you can actually do drive time and get information there. You can actually do areas. You can do zip codes. You can do school districts, census blocks. So you can search a particular area if your client is interested in that. Maybe school, they want to live in a particular school. You can search those also. And then we have heat maps. Heat maps really tell a visual story. And you have lots of different things that you can actually look at in the heat maps. Yes. So we have all of these different things. This one is a 12-month estimated change. And actually, it's like I have to go both ways, right, over here. So what you're looking at here is 12-month estimated change. The bluer it is, the better it's actually gone. The redder it is, it's not doing as well. So if someone actually wanted a distressed property, maybe they thought, it's not going to cost me as much. I'm a fix-up person. I can do it. You could actually search with your Polygon and find that information. So, and you have things there for flood maps. That's great. In Florida, everybody wants to know if they're in a flood zone. I covered Georgia and Florida. Florida is a flood zone. I'm not sure why they're even checking it because it is a flood zone. But you have all of that information that's available there for there. We also have investors tools. I have a great story on the investor tool. Everyone's an investor now. They want to know what their ROI is. What is my return of investment? These are great to use in open houses or just with your investors. I had a woman come up to me at a convention in Miami, and she said, I use this all the time. I have to tell you a story. I love this tool. It takes no time. It's wonderful. I have an investor that I work with all the time. He made me really, really mad. He called me and said, I have 4 properties. I want you to tell me the information that you always do when we go to do an investment. What happened? And she goes, okay, I can do that. He says, but I want to sell them. She's like, well, okay, I'm really good at this. And he goes, yeah, but this time I want to sell him. He's a family man. He was a lawyer. He actually didn't do anything on the weekends but be with his family. It's kind of cool. So this was like on a Thursday. So she did it on a Friday, sent it to him on a Saturday. She didn't want to send it right away because it only took about 15, 20 minutes to do the 4 properties. Didn't want to send it to him right away. And she thought, I won't hear from him until Monday because he'll be with the family. He called her up on Sunday and said, you have all the listings. You just get me too much information. You do it so well, you have the listing. So it's a great tool. We have, when you pull up a property, we have a little area that says property analysis for realtors. It's through eRealtors. And it actually takes you to another area. It's another program. You click on there, and then you actually fill in the information. Fill in the information of when you're going to rent. How do you want to rent? Are you going to rent? Are you going to resell it? Are you going to live in it for a while? How long do you want to live in it? And then you choose, what do I want? Do I want an aggressive? Do I want a moderate? Do I want a conservative scenario? You can choose all three. You can choose two. So you choose those. You fill in the information that you need to pull in, all the different variables. You're seeing some there. There's an area where you can add the ones that you actually want. You also have graphs and charts that you can do to give an idea of what's happening, what would happen over. Again, you can change what those graphs and charts are. So you fill in the information. You go up there, you click View Spreadsheet, pushes it into a spreadsheet. Next thing you have, copy to an Excel, because you can't change their spreadsheet, but you can copy it over to an Excel. Now, how long did that take? Not very long. So it's a great, great tool. I actually taught a class, and why is this not going? There we go. I taught a class, and the woman that was sitting in there was an investor. And she said, this class, just in itself, you just saved me hours and hours and hours of work that I do on my own. So it's a great investor tool. Other tools we have, these estimates that we're actually talking about, if we look here, this is our RVM. So here's a list price. If we're looking at a property, you have the list price, and over here, that's an RVM. We overlay the information from the MLS to create that. It's about 90% more accurate than, or accurate. We had someone come in and look at that. This is a base. Even your AVMs, they're not bad. It's a base for you to start from when you're doing listing presentations, when you want to talk about what the value of this is, what the pricing is. This is a place to start. Ours just gives you a better place. We also give it a confidence rating. So these little stars that you're actually seeing up here, that's telling you that's the confidence of what we have. And that little I will tell you which properties we actually use to create that confidence level. If we're not confident, we don't have enough comps to do that, to be able to do it, we're not going to put it there. But it's going to give you a value, and it's going to give you a range to start with. And then you use your expertise to then move on to something that we have another tool that's called home value improvements. Now, I've used this. I've sold property in Virginia, North Carolina, Arizona, now Florida. So I've bought and sold in both places, all those different places. I've used this tool every single time. What this allows you to do, and we use Hanley Woods, home, oh shoot, I always forget how, Nubu, who is it? Hanley Woods and, you know? Hanley Woods does what? Do you remember? It's like Home Model Magazine. That's what I'm trying to say. Home Remodel Magazine, I think is what it is. And they actually do that. So they actually work with remodels of homes all the way across the country. And they create what the value of that particular remodel would be in that area. Take it down to the zip code in that area that's there. Because what a kitchen would cost here is not necessarily what it would cost in California or what it would cost somewhere in the Midwest. It's not going to be the same. So they do that. So we give you this tool to be able to evaluate this. I just bought a house or townhouse in Florida. It was listed at $250. The highest comp there for the exact same thing was $220. Now, what was the difference between the $250 and the $220? She'd done a lot of renovations. So we talked to her, well, how much did your renovations cost? $30,000. What did you do them on? She told me. So $30,000 and $220 is what? $250. Now, is that $30,000 really what those renovations are worth? No. So this is where you're going to have to work with it. And I'm going, we were afraid it wouldn't appraise because it was the highest comp was $220. It's at $250. So what did I do? I went to my realtor and I said, we're going to use RPR. We're going to figure out what this is. We put it in there. We put in what the information was. So you're going to put in when was the home improvement, when was it completed, how much was it, and then it will calculate for you in that particular area what that value is. And this one is looking at it cost $10,000 for their deck, for a mid-range deck, and the value of that was $56.74. Then we add that to that. That helps you with your pricing discussions, or we're working with someone, whether it's a buyer or a seller. What I did too, it actually then brought the value of that home, actually because she did a lot, and in that area that's really important where we were, to 242. So I went in at 230. She came back at 240. I took it. You know what it appraised at? 242, exactly where it was. So it's a great, great tool. I've used it lots. It's one of my favorite tools. So these are, I'm kind of just going through some of the favorite tools, or even my favorite tools that actually do here. We also have reports. So that's some of the tools that we have. There's many, many more, but those are the ones that I find the realtors use the most. And you're going to have to pick out which ones you use because there's a lot here. You're not going to use it all, but you're going to pick out what works best for you, and these are the ones that I think have been really, really popular and we get lots of feedback on. Reports, lots of impressive reports. PDF, they're branded by you, so you can send them out at any time. If we have, I'm going to go over this one a little more in depth than any of the others because the reports aren't the same, but you get to them the same. So you kind of will have an idea. But let's say you wanted to do a comp analysis. It's branded by you. You pull up a property, you go to the summary page, you say create the comp. We make it very, very easy for you. We give you 4 steps. First, you can confirm your facts. You're going to go there. If we have listing information, that information will be there. If we have public information, that information will be there. And there's another column. If you don't agree with any of that because you're the expert, you put that information in. It will adjust it, so you need to make sure that you know what those are, especially in the bedrooms and baths and living square feet. Then you say, okay, we've got those. Now I need to find my comps. Very easy to do. You click on Find Comps. You have your subject property at the top. You then can choose how you want to find those. You can put in your own. You can put in an MLS number and actually choose that because you know that's a good comp for this particular one. Or you can put in information about the property, the property type, the status, property details, if it's for sale, how long you actually want to look at those. Or you can use the map. Either way. Or you can use a combination of all 3. You know, one that looks here, I want some of these statistical area, this particular property type, and I just want this area on the map and I want to do a polygon. You're going to find the comps. At that point, it's going to plot them all on the map. You can actually click on each one and it'll tell you what it is. If you say, I like that one, I click on it. Or you can just look at the list that it pulled up, click on it. It'll pull over to the other side. Those are the comps that it'll actually use. You update your evaluation. At this point, you're saying, okay, here's my average comps. There's a range in there also. Then you say, you know what? I want to adjust that. So you give it an area to adjust it. This one, there's 16. You can move back and forth between them. You can change the numbering. I like this one to be number 1. I want this one to be number 10. You can adjust it with the little sliders. Adjust the information down there. Area to put notes if you like it. You click on that. You now have a range and a suggested price. Sometimes you don't like to use that. You can choose to not use it, take it out, use some of it, just do the range. Click on Get a Report. Goes to Reports. You want to see what the details on this. Now, this is a seller's report. It can be 85 pages long. Great for the engineer. They love that. Not so much for someone like me. I like the pictures. I want to see the pictures and give me the bottom line. So it kind of depends on what you want. All those little check marks you can uncheck, so you don't have to show those. If you're not sure what that particular check mark is, you click that little I, or in the little blue, and it's actually going to show, actually I just went back. Then it's going to print out a report, and this is what your reports will kind of look like, giving you the information of what you've actually chosen. That's pretty extensive, but when you do reports, you have the availability to adjust them all. Market activity, this is one of my favorite. There's an agent that I ran into, she uses this in HOAs. So an open house, investors, giving you the market activity in that area, send it to your clients, update them all the time, walk in a neighborhood, great way to stay in touch with them. I love this just because you can narrow it down to what that activity is. This one agent, she goes into an HOA area, and they have a meeting once a month. She goes there and she talks to everybody. They come to the HOA meeting, what happens? She hands out her card. Do you know how many times she actually sells? You talk about niches. She sells in that one particular area. So it makes it really nice. So a great way to use that, we have an area that just says market activity report. Give me the information. Put in an area. When do I want to actually show this? What's the range? Do I want to do it for 3 months, 1 week, 3 days? Put the information in there. Search. It's going to give you information. You can narrow that down. Draw a box if it's more than what you want, because in this instance it was just a zip code. Narrow it down. Going to give you all the ones that actually search in there. Go back up to our favorite area. Get a report. And we get the report. Same scenario. Choose the one. Look at the details if you want. Change information there. If you decide, okay, you know what? I decide I don't want farm and ranch in there. You can undo that here. It's shorter than the past month. Change your information. Print the report out. It's a great, great tool to be able to do that. And that can be emailed to you or to your client directly if you want. If you're not used to doing this, I always suggest to email it to yourself first. And it's branded by you. And see what it looks like and take the PDF. Or not email it, but save the PDF. Lots of information there showing it to you so that you can give that to your clients. Neighborhood reports works similar than a market report, but this is going to give you information about that neighborhood. Great for relocation. If you have a client that's coming from someplace else, it's great for that. It's going to give you demographic information, school information. It compares neighborhoods so they can see a comparison. Maybe this, I don't like this particular one. Capture your open house client. Instead, you're in a neighborhood, you're in a subdivision. Client comes in, you know, I really like this neighborhood, but I'm not so crazy about, I'm sorry, I'm not really crazy about this house, you know, but I really like the neighborhood. I wonder what this neighborhood's like. Okay, so you have a property report, right? They don't like your house. Where does it go? Circular file, bye-bye. Neighborhood report, information about it. Guess what? It keeps it. Same way, it's going to give you a summary of information, estimated values. It's going to give you housing information. It's going to give you people information. What are the people actually doing here? Household income, even voter registration. You know, is it presidential voting pattern between the Democrats and Republicans? Economy, quality of life, how much rainfall is there? Is there? I think there was one that was like mining or something. I was like, okay, not too much around here. Average monthly temperature gives them a nice little report. It prints that out. We have a mini property report. That's great for farming and calling on owners in different areas. Be the real estate expert. Again, they look similar here. I'm going through this pretty fast because I know there's a time constraint. Broker tool sets. We have tools for brokers, which when we actually take this, when you actually look at these reports, it's either going to be branded by RPR or it's going to be branded by the MLS. If the MLS is with us, or if a broker works with us, it's branded by the broker. And they can actually get data analysis tools that's happening with the MLS, but how they compare to other offices, how they compare within their own offices. They can put their affiliated services in there. RPR commercial, that's when I said the resi-mercial. You have that information because there's a lot of great trade reports in there. You can use these also with relocation clients. You can search for properties. You can do an in-depth analysis, and we have mapping. An in-depth analysis is actually going to give you a trade report. In this instance, we're searching Fort Lauderdale, trying to find what's the best business for this particular area. It brings up, you got too many of this, not enough of this. You have trade reports down at the bottom, properties for sale, print the report. If you look at the trade report, which I think is good for anybody, for anyone, it's going to give you the population. It's going to give you an age range, what that particular dominant segment of lifestyle is. It's going to give you the information about that. As you go down, it gives you 5 more. There's about 90 different dominant segments in this day and age. So it's going to give you that information. It actually even tells you what kind of car they drive. It gets kind of scary, but these type of people are going to drive this kind of car. These people have, they like these financial, they like these TV shows. It gets kind of crazy. So it's very interesting. It also has a great point of interest map. So it actually, you can search an area, and it's actually when you click on a particular point of interest, it's going to tell you. And this one, it's an annex, where the address is, has 3 employees, what the sales volume is, and what the industry is. So it gives you a lot of great information here. And quarter 4, okay, I'm really done. Just this one thing, real fast, because this is, oh, okay. This is the mobile application. This is coming in quarter 4. It's great. It accesses. It allows you to do walkability. It's in all areas. I'll let her go. Is she going? Gallery views. It's awesome. But any questions on that? Thanks.
Thank you so much. If you have questions, RPR does have a booth today. So if you have in-depth questions, you can talk to them about how you can use it in your market. If you have follow-up questions, you can go out and talk to the booth at lunch and on the break. But that was fantastic. A lot of information for 25 minutes. So thank you so much.